Okay.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. Boop, boop, boop. It's not that we took a break, but we kind of took a small break. Mine still sounds okay.
Well, we're just gone.
We were gone.
And there wasn't really enough room for all this stuff.
Yeah. We planned to be gone, regardless, last weekend for our 7-year wedding anniversary. So a little backstory. When we got engaged, that was my first really big hike ever.
Yep.
And we hiked the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
And then at the end of that hike, so we hiked North Rim to South Rim.
Through the night.
This was on September 7th. Well, I guess we stepped off on the 16th, finished on the 17th in the morning. 14 hours. And then at the end of that, Sean proposed. So first big hike, big celebration afterwards. And now we have gone on some sort of adventure, either on our anniversary weekend or close as we can to it for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
Technically 8.
Yeah. So we made last minute. We knew we were going to go to Colorado. That's probably a week out, 2 weeks out.
But we thought we were just going to drive. And so we thought about taking all the podcast stuff with us.
Yep.
And then Friday at 2:00, booked flights to Seattle to leave Saturday morning at 6 a.m. So no time to do anything but frantically pack.
Yeah. 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 And so we hiked and then we had no idea what we were going to, we just knew that area, there's tons of hiking because within 3 hours of Seattle, there's Mount Rainier, North Cascades, and Olympia National Park. There's 3 national parks within 3 hours of Seattle.
Yeah, and just so many hikes.
Yeah, and then there's tons of state parks and there's stuff everywhere. So we'll just figure it out when we get there.
So we texted our friend Jessica, who is actually from Oklahoma, but we met her in the ultra world. And was like, what would your top recommendations? And she sent us a handful of things that she was like, these are what I would recommend if I only had the weekend.
Yeah, and so one of them was a couple. It was hard because that being at last minute, it wasn't just go somewhere. We kind of had to be we had to book hotels the same day and find somewhere to hike and somewhere to stay. And so you don't want to stay in the middle of nowhere. You still want to say access to some sort of stores, restaurants, or food.
Because flying with a ton of trail food is also really hard.
Yeah. And so we picked the Enchantments hike, which we'd heard about but didn't really know anything about at all. But one direction of this Enchantments traverse, it's a single, one way. It's a 3/4 loop, and then you shuttle back to your car. And so it's rim to rim type hard. It's super difficult, lots of climbing, super technical, long, big day, need to be prepared. But to start that traverse, there's a really pretty lake, and then there's a gigantic climb called Asgard Pass, and then you're on top of this shelf of kind of mountain area, and you go across that shelf, and then you come back down the other side. So we were like, well, we'll just go as far one way, knowing we'll just return back to the car. So we'll make it an out back, and then we'll just decide
basically how far we
want to go when we're doing it. And so we kind of packed not light, but definitely not heavy on things. So we didn't really pack
I did not pack heavy.
Well, I meant we didn't pack heavy in the sense of rim to rim, we're going to be out here for 12, 15, 18 hours.
I did not pack we were hiking.
We packed we'll do I don't know, be out there for 6 to 8 hours kind of day. And we got to the lake, tough climb up to the lake, but nothing too wild. Just a really good trail, lots of rocks, lots of roots, really some flat sections, some stairs, steep sections. Took us a few hours to get up there. Spent probably 90 minutes, 2 hours at the lake, taking pictures, grabbing some snacks. and this is 9, 10 a.m. at this point. So we stepped off on the trail at 7 a.m. And like, well, let's just go around the lake, which is the next part of it, and then we'll go up the pass as far as we want. And you could see the pass from across the lake, which is really pretty in all the pictures. So if you go look at the pictures on IG, Danny_Prevail, you can see that the blue lake, and if you look behind us in the pictures, you can see the mountain. And there's a little bit of a dip on the left side of the picture, and that's called Asgard Pass. And from the picture, you can't even see the trail. Can you? Well, most of the time climbing up it,
on the trail, you can't see.
You can't see the trail either. So like, well, we'll just go up as whatever we get to when we get to it, and then we'll decide to turn around because we know the distance back. We kind of know that we'll be a tiny bit faster back. And so we started climbing, and right off the gate, as soon as we got around the lake, it was bouldering, it was route finding, it wasn't like hanging off a cliff, but you were definitely like,
it was sketch.
You could definitely like, it wasn't, you couldn't just turn your brain off. You definitely had to think about what you're doing.
Well, yeah, and if you're even slightly scared of heights, like some of that is terrifying.
Some of it is, because you're on this big rock field, and at first you're in this rock field, which on the way back we found a different route, which was way easier, thank goodness. But one fall down one of these rocks is like 5, 6, 7, 8 feet into a pile of rocks, which is not the most comforting thing. No. And then when you start going up, you're like, well, I'm 2 decisions away from like rolling down this steep incline for wherever height we went.
Yeah. So it ended up being like kind of intensity wise of the canyon, like from elevation standpoint, but like the rocks were way different.
Yeah, so
but we still didn't even know that going into it. We didn't think like
we had no
this
idea.
Is a comparison to hiking rim to rim.
No. We just knew, I mean, you could see all trails and you're like, oh, well, if you do the Enchantments Traverse, it's like 5,400 feet in elevation gain. But you don't really know where all that is. And you're like, okay, well, that's a lot. And we knew we got to like 2,500 gain to the lake, which is a big climb. And then we're like, we'll just go up as far as we can. Well, it ends up being like the top of the pass. That's the tallest part of the entire traverse hike. And it's up to like 77. So the town we stayed at, Leavenworth, super cute town.
Super cute. You guys, if you didn't see my Instagram and you want to go look, I should make that a highlight because it was really cute.
Yeah. So
it's a little German-based.
Yeah, it was fun. Kind of looks like a little mini Germany. It's all dressed up. All the buildings all look the same, and the fonts and the text everywhere looks like you're in Germany. Yeah. The food and the type of restaurants.
Like a little square.
But that town is at 1,200 feet, which is like Oklahoma. Yeah. The trailhead was at 3,000 feet, and then the top of the pass was at 77. It's roughly, right? I don't know. From the trailhead. Anyways, so we climb up this pass. We start climbing, and it's getting slower and slower and slower because it's getting steeper and steeper and steeper. And some of it, the entire way up that pass, there's not a single flat, like, walkable section. No. You were on some sort of incline, some sort of loose rock, some sort of big rock.
Loose rock. Key words, loose rock.
The entire time. So that was another 2,500 feet to climb to get to the top. Yeah. And it took us...
too long.
From the time we left the lake to the time we got to the top of the pass, it was like 3 hours of climbing. Pretty close.
Maybe 4. Yeah. It was a while.
But we had to make a bunch of decisions along the way because we weren't really making... Like, we had...
It's not that we weren't being smart.
Right, but we're definitely not the smartest decisions.
No, because we just really didn't know what we were getting into. And we actually had someone send us a message the night before. I haven't met her in person, but Carly. And she was like, I did the whole thing last year, and I've done R3 at the Grand Canyon, and it was harder than R3. And we were like, oh, dang. Well, we're not doing the entire thing, so maybe it won't be as crazy.
Yeah, it turns out that the biggest bulk of how hard that hike is the first 7-8 miles. So we did basically the hardest section of the hike, and then we turned around and went backwards down it again.
Just repeated it.
Yeah. Anyways, we made a gigantic climb. And Jess, who is our ultra friend, she was like, Asgard Pass is not too bad. It wasn't really, I don't know what people talk about.
People complain about it, but they're just being ridiculous.
Jess, hope you're watching this.
Hope you listen.
This girl
It was nuts. We had a couple falls.
Yep, some scrapes and bumps and bruises along the way. And oh, this mic's being weird right here. Yep.
But it was really pretty.
Super pretty.
I've always wanted, which we've gone on a couple of hikes. Blue Lakes in Colorado has like a really pretty like lake.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think where else we've been. But this place was like, felt like we weren't in the States to me.
Yeah, there's
It
a couple
was-
other. We've been to. There's parts of TNB had a glacier lake in it. There was a blue lake.
Yeah.
But the reason that this lake is so pretty is not. It's because it's completely fed by glacier water.
It was so blue and beautiful. But it is crazy because when we got there, it was like the sun was bright, but it was still kind of overcast because there was a little bit of clouds.
Mm-hmm.
And the water was so blue.
Mhm.
And then we moved down a little bit, and it kind of looked like it was going to rain.
Mhm.
And then the water like wasn't as blue, and then it like got brighter again, but it was so pretty.
Yeah, so that was the enchantment. It was super hard, lots of tough climbing, and legs were definitely trash for a couple days after that.
Trash. We were like drunk people walking back down after a while. Our legs were done.
Yeah, you start making a lot of mistakes.
But yeah,
We finished that hike with maybe 100 calories of food left. I had half of one Bulbasaur left. No water.
I had like fruit snacks.
We had
left,
whatever
maybe.
layers we had on. We had no more layers, and we got done right at sunset.
Yes.
So we were like one decision away, or one kind of like two decisions or two random things happening away from being in a potentially dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Because if the climb would have taken us an hour longer, we would have been coming down in the dark. If there would have been any rain on the way down, we were already out of layers.
Mm-hmm.
If there had been any delay, we were already out of water. I mean, it's just a lot of things that we were cutting it close with.
Yeah, we kept like stopping, and I'm like, okay, but is this stupid?
On the
and
way
Sean's
up.
like, on the way up, because we knew we weren't to the top yet, and we didn't really know like how much longer it was going to take us, because the trail you can't really see it,
Mm-mm.
and you can tell you still have like a decent amount to go, but you just can't tell what's on the other side of the rock that you're climbing up.
No, there was one section that was, we had 1,000 feet of elevation gain to go. You could see the ridge, and it was 0.8 miles away, and it took us an hour and like 10 minutes
It was a long time.
because it was so steep.
So we kept stopping, and Sean's like, well, I don't know if if I knew somebody else's situation, I don't know if I would recommend them to keep going.
Right. From the outside in, you're like, okay, you've got, well, at that point we had roughly 7 miles back down, and we did have a filter with us in case we really got into a bind at the lake. We could have taken our time and like filtered a bunch of water. But where we were at there
wasn't.
yeah. And we didn't know what the water was like at the top, which ended up being there was a water source right there at the top, but we just couldn't see it. And it was like, if this takes us 2 hours, we could be in like a really interesting situation. But if this takes us 45 minutes, it'll be fine. And
Mm-hmm.
just was whenever you say adventurous, like a sense of element of danger.
It felt danger.
Yeah. So if you go to the enchantments and you
Maybe
want to go do the lake, just do the lake,
Plan a little better.
because that's still like a 6-hour day.
Yeah, the lake would have been really cool to just stop at.
Right, but you would have been disappointed for the rest of the day because you wouldn't have been tired enough.
No, I wouldn't have been disappointed.
She would have been sad.
I would have been sad. That's different than disappointed.
Right.
But I would have still had ants in my pants. This is what I keep saying, is now that we went on our trip, I think Sean tried to just like exhaust me as much as possible day one.
I didn't try to exhaust you. I just wanted to make sure that you knew you had fully worked. I didn't want any doubt
that
there was no like, oh, we could have done more today. I don't want any of that.
Yeah,
none of that.
We kept stopping on the way up, and we were like it might not be the smartest to go all the way to the top because we don't know how long it's going to take us. We could be finished in the dark. We're almost out of water.
Mm-hmm.
I can function for a while with no water
Mm-hmm.
and food
Mm-hmm.
ish.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, might be okay.
Mm-hmm. And we saw that one girl, and she was like, "Is this your first time out here?"
Yeah.
I said yes. And she's like, "If you have the energy,
Go to the top.
go to the top. It's worth it. Get up there."
And we could see it. And in the back of your mind, it's like, even though this wasn't even like a bucket list thing until the day before. We didn't even know anything about this.
Mm-mm.
But we kind of knew that, like, if we didn't go all the way to the top and see,
Yeah.
then it would kind of be in the back of our mind, like,
Yeah.
well, we didn't go to the top.
Right. Which we still have to go back and do the entire pass because there was like 5 miles of the top section that you kind of bounce between different lakes, that you have like a 360-degree view of the mountains in this little bowl, which I'm sure is really pretty.
Really pretty. Yeah. It was hands down worth it. We definitely felt better when we were coming down the mountain and it wasn't dark yet.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But there was some there was some hesitation and fear that it was going to be dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Knees did not feel good on the way down.
No. And
we also descended 5,000 feet.
Yeah. And I randomly rolled my ankle like on the flattest part when we were
might go for a root or something. Just
not paying attention. I mean, it's fine, but you just get tired and then you just start drunk walking. And then that's what my favorite part of the hikes every time is when we've like been out on a trail for, it usually happens if we've been out for like 6-7 plus hours.
Mm-hmm.
You start talking about all the like good food, like not trail snacks that you want to eat.
Yeah.
Like whatever sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just eating Sour Patch Kids and like granola bars and dried fruit.
Yeah. You haven't had a real meal all day.
You're just like, I just want
because
burger.
you wake up and have some sort of oatmeal-y thingy.
Yeah, we had
and
protein
then you
oatmeal.
have protein bars, and then you have some other snacks, and you never have like a real meal.
No, and you're just like, give me a burger or a turkey sandwich, something.
Yeah. So that was the Enchantments. Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. And if you're going, take me with you because I got really cool pictures, and I could have gotten cooler pictures if I wasn't using the camera propped up against a rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if somebody wants photos there.
Yeah. So this mic is being
ridiculous.
Finicky. This cable. Okay.
Okay.
So let's. The Enchantments. The Enchantments was.
What we were going to talk about today.
We had no plans for today, but let's just go ahead and.
Guess what just got delivered? My ant mound killer. I have red ant mounds in the backyard. If anyone has a solution for that.
I think your solution just got here.
I'm so excited. Blow them up.
Okay. We'll tie in Jess, our ultra friend.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll wrap up the rest of Moab 240 with
another time.
All right.
What you were gonna say today?
No.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
Yes, 240. Like how else? Yeah.
Oh.
Do you have something else you want to talk about?
No.
Do you just want to stop?
Well, I mean, we're 20 minutes in.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about anything else from the trip in general? Any other must-see do's in Seattle?
Well, we went to Deception Pass, which is kind of an iconic image bridge thing over Whidbey Island.
Yes.
So that's a fun place to drive to. There's a little state park on the island that you can go walk the beach and a bunch of like driftwood and pretty rocks and
Mm-hmm.
pretty views of the Sound. You can see Olympia in the distance.
Yeah.
Whidbey Island is huge.
It's
Takes us
huge.
an hour and a half drive across it. We drove over the bridge to get into it, stayed in the middle of the island at some town, and then took a ferry out to get back to Seattle the next day.
Yeah.
There was a bluff that we went and watched sunset. And so the sunset was, you could see the outline of Olympic National Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then to your left, you could see Rainier behind Seattle. And then 180 degrees behind us, you could see Mount Baker, which is like right on the, basically right on side the North Cascades.
Yeah.
All from that standing point, which is a really cool spot.
And then the sunset and the moon.
The moon was huge.
The moon was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was really pretty.
Okay. Anything else in Seattle?
We did go to a gym. That was fun.
Went
We went to a rock climbing gym. That was fun.
Went to a rock climbing gym by accident
And then we stayed with Jess.
on a boat.
Yes, on her boyfriend's boat.
Mm-hmm.
And took a little...
What?
Well, what would you say instead of like a drive?
Ride?
Took a ride?
Yeah.
Out to see Seattle from the water.
Yep.
And we saw little orcas,
Uh-huh.
which was kind of
Well,
cool.
yeah.
They were up there.
Yeah, a little bait. They're like little small whales, kind of dolphins.
Kind of dolphins.
Things, porpoises. They're
Oh,
like
porpoises.
they're small whales.
Anyways, they were really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think what else happened in Seattle. I mean, that's a lot
It's a
for
lot.
4 days.
So we got into town, got a rental car, drove 2.5 hours out to Leavenworth, cute town.
So cute.
Hiked all the day the next day, got up, drove a different loop back to northern Seattle
Yes.
area, like way north of Seattle, to go to Whidbey Island.
Yes.
Stopped halfway to take a call with Evan
Yes.
at an
we had a
RV
call.
park, a little
Forgot about
tiny
that.
cafe. Drove over the pass, went down to the beach.
Took a little walk to see the sunset at the best spot.
Drove to the other side. Found a hotel during that time.
Yeah, because we didn't book anything ahead of time.
No. And then got up the next day, drove into Seattle, still didn't have a hotel, drove into Seattle to go drop into a gym, another kettlebell gym up there, Fuel House.
Yes.
Did a session midday.
Yeah.
Stayed and walked around, got some work done at an area called Barrows. It's like a arts district area. There was a few different like city blocks.
Yeah.
A bunch of like cafes and restaurants and bars and breweries and stores and little gyms. Randomly
really
walking
cute.
around, getting some steps in, walked by a gym that was a climbing gym, but it was huge.
Huge. How many square feet was it? He didn't know either. The kid
was
that was
huge.
like giving us a tour, which was really nice, but
It was 3 floors and 20,000 feet or something. It was huge.
and like 7-9 different walls to climb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really big. Had a full gym at the bottom and
Had a full yoga studio.
all sorts of wild stuff. But we walked in and we're looking around and just asked the guy to take us on a tour, and he was super nice. And ended up having some passes, and so we had a couple hours, so we climbed on the walls for a while
It was fun.
randomly, and then Jess was like, hey, come stay on the boat. And then we stayed on the boat, got up the next day and left.
And flew out.
Yeah, which is a pretty typical unplanned, on the cusp, like figure things out as you go trip for us.
Yeah, this is how we normally do life. But it's usually we know we're going out of town a little earlier. We just don't have like hard plans.
Yeah, and Seattle was random because that was just the best flight window we can get.
Yeah.
We didn't think like, let's go to Seattle. We were looking Skyscanner website,
Mhm.
and Seattle popped up as one of. It was the same price to get to Seattle as Denver, and we're like, well, let's just go to Seattle.
Just so random because Denver's usually like kind of a good deal.
It was definitely random. Okay. Anything else about Seattle? This cable.
That's cable. I don't think so. It was a lot of fun. Very last minute, a lot of fun, a lot of randomness.
Yep. So if you find a last minute flight deal to Seattle, take it. Grab a car. And then
Drive to
and just
Leavenworth. Even if you just do
just-
the Kolchak
Kolchak Lake. Great.
Kolchak Lake, Yeah.
Great hike.
It
really
was
pretty.
Amazing. I don't know. That's it. Do you want to talk about anything else?
No.
Talk about what's happening in the studio next week.
Okay. So next week is Strength Week at the studio.
Strength Week.
So Strength Week is once a quarter.
I say this because when we were in Seattle and right before we left, we had a big team meeting.
Yep.
To make quarter 4
program,
which is what you're going to talk about in a second. But like, also while we were there, changing things and now getting back, we've been really focusing on Strength Week and quarter 4.
Yeah. So Friday night we had a several-hour team meeting to build the quarter 4 program.
Yes.
And we booked the flights like
3 hours before the
3
meeting
hours
started.
before that meeting for the next morning at like 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So we built quarter 4 programming, which means we get all the sessions all laid out, all the details, all the stuff, all the dorky sciencey things, and the program principles stuff laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And then before each quarter, the new program starts, we do one Strength Week, which used to be called Sticker Week. Sticker Week, because every student has a binder. On that binder, they have a bunch of stickers that's kind of like a martial arts belt system. So there's like white belt, white sticker, which means you have everything off of the white line, kind of like getting everything, all the skills to have a white belt, right? That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
And so before like quarter 3 to quarter 4, that transition is the Strength Week where we go and reassess all the patterns off of our like 9 major patterns, 11 major kind of like pattern movements.
Mm-hmm.
So that you have a bunch of good data to see, did the last quarter program have any effect on my strength capability?
Yeah.
And is there any reset of numbers so that I can get more out of the next program?
Mm-hmm.
So we go in and we just spend the entire week, which is 3 days, not like 6 days, but 3 sessions, and you figure out what's your new 1 RM of a lift. But really the bulk of it is like 5 RM or 3 RM or 10 RM of a lift, so that when you see something in the next program, you're adjusting that load appropriately.
Yeah.
And that's all next week is Strength Week. Used to be called Sticker Week because you could potentially get new stickers if you acquired more things off of a line.
Yeah. And if you attend 3 days, then you get a sticker week.
You get a sticker that says like quarter 4 Sticker Week, sucks to be strong sticker.
Yeah.
And you get that sticker on your binder, which is kind of like this a way it's just like it's extra bonus because you could see someone's binders has like 4 stickers and you're like, oh, well, they've been to 4 different of these weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a fun collector's type of thing. You only get that sticker if you attend 3 sessions during that week.
Yeah.
And you potentially can get more stickers if you get more things off the line. We changed it to Strength Week because the sticker part is the like DNA and like the reasoning behind the board. But really, it's not the main focus. The main focus is to reassess what's hard, what's medium, what's light, so that you can like really see your progress from before, and you can really like make adjustments to where you're going in the future.
Set all your like what your heavies are.
Right. So that if you say
for the next program,
right, grab your medium, get up, you know what that means.
Yeah.
Because everyone who starts at Prevail goes through 5 one-on-one onboarding sessions. And over 4 of those sessions, they're movement based. You see where you are on the board. So you start at Prevail and you get an assessment, education, and this kind of quote unquote testing of these patterns on the board. And, I could do 3 push-ups. Well, that's day 1 you were here. We know 3 push-ups. That's line 3 or whatever it is, right? And then 12 weeks later, you run through a full program, and then you go through and go, oh, I'm going to test how many push-ups I can do. Oh, I can do 7 now. And you go, oh, well, I'm on line 5. We do that across all patterns. So it's a re-power pack of where you're at. And that's all next week. It's a ton of work. It's a lot of preparation. It's something that we have continued to like tweak over and over and over and over again because we always want things to be better.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have 3 different sessions built for Strength Week. We used to do one Saturday, and whoever could come, everybody could come, and it was chaos. It was fun, but it was chaos, and our board only had like 5 lines on it.
Yeah, I think the most at that when you did we did like a Saturday field day type of like meet style. So it was we'd all kind of warm up together, and then after that we would just go across the board. So we'd just we'd just be there for like 2 or 3 hours just testing things, and it was a mess.
It was a mess.
There'd be 30 or 40 people in there for 3 hours, and it was not the best version of it. I think there was 7 patterns at that board and 10 lines at that point. Maybe. The newest board has the most data, the most patterns it's ever had. So there's 11 assessments and there's 20 lines. So some of them are kind of like doubled up. It's 240 data points.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
But so you break it up into 3 days. It doesn't feel like.
Right. So each day is basically 3 patterns.
Yeah.
That's kind of the basic idea.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about our trip, but also like during all of that, we also have like a ton going on at the studio, which is exciting. Yeah.
Pretty normal.
Yeah.
You know, tightening up program, tightening up things on the back end at the airport, all that fun stuff. Because someone was, people will say, well, how was your vacation? I'm like, vacation's not really a word for us.
I would probably lose my mind if we went on a trip and we weren't like working a little bit, or
it took us a lot of work to get to the point to leave and not work, and we've only done that once or twice. I think when we did
because we didn't have service though.
Yeah, when we did Tour de Mont Blanc, that was like the most amount of time out of the studio that we also did not work on the studio remotely.
Yeah,
and probably the only time we've ever spent, I don't know, I mean,
that long.
Definitely that long. That's the longest we've ever done. But I don't know if we've probably left it a handful of times, 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 days, and been almost 100% disconnected from doing any kind of work. But the vast majority of times that we leave to do things, we're working while we leave. So it's really not vacations.
Just like
it's more like playcations.
Yeah, because I think the only other time, like Moab, because we had no service, and I remember walking and being like, I'm not answering. I haven't checked my email in like 3 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lots of fun stuff happening at the studio, and if you follow, I didn't post it on mine, but you posted it on your personal Facebook. All our new swag. We have so many fun things happening right now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, we have an anniversary party, 10-year Prevail anniversary party.
October 11th.
It's a Friday. And we hired this guy out to make a shirt, or make a design that we could put on a shirt.
Yeah, 90% of designs, maybe more than that, in the past have all come from our own head, basically, and then
we send it to our like t-shirt guy.
Yeah, John over at Mint Apparel,
which he's awesome,
local guy, and he will like give him a rough idea or a sketch or something we built off a Canva or like a physical sketch, and he'll tighten it up and make it look a lot better. Yeah. This is the first time we ever paid someone to straight up make a t-shirt design from scratch without any of our own influence.
Yeah. Which we recently did a brand refresh with a company. So we tightened up some colors and like really got cool like color swatches and fonts and logos. Yep. And we've never really had like, we would kind of use the same fonts, but they like really gave us like.
Yeah, very, very unique to us, repeatable to tighten up that. Yeah, and there were some other like back end stuff like
for sure.
Some messaging stuff that was tightened up a little bit too.
But once we got that back, we reached out to this. His name's El Ray.
Yeah, El Ray on Instagram. You should go follow him.
He's quite the character if you follow him on Instagram. He goes live every morning for his morning coffee. But he makes a whole bunch of like.
Yeah, he has this like old. It's kind of an old style, like a traditional tattoo style. Design, simple design, but it's at the same time it's this like Western slash kind of punk design. Yeah. So it's a lot of skulls. Yeah. Pinup girl, but at the same time it's not like super Americana type style. It's kind of like that, but it's got more of like Halloween vibe, but not a
It
Halloween
does kind of
vibe.
Halloween vibe because it's all skulls and.
Anyways,
He made us a.
He makes fun stuff, and so we hired him to make a shirt. Our anniversary party on October 11th, you're invited, is it's the one time a year that we do a big merch drop with no pre-sale, and I think we have 8 SKUs of items and then 3 hats, so technically that's like 11 SKUs, which is like 11 completely different design prints, and we just buy a whole bunch and we have them all out, and it's first come first serve. Normally throughout the year we do like a 2 SKU pre-sale merch launch every 60 to 90 days. It's all in-house in studio, and this is the only time once a year that we do like a full big merch drop where it's open to anyone to come and grab whatever they want.
Yep.
And it's so, it's a little more work, a little more logistics on top of that.
I'm excited. Yeah. So while we were there, we were trying to like really finalize the swag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we had to get that ordered.
Yeah, I had to get it ordered in time, to have it in store and have it organized in studio and organized and then deliverable. So if we backtrack, if you kind of like zoom out on a process like this, if we're like, we want everything in our hands by October 9th, 8th, 2 or 3 days before the party, we started organizing information at the beginning of August. So it took the beginning of August through the middle of September. It took us 6 weeks to get all the information, designs, colors, and variations ready. Yep. And then we sent it. And even when we sent it on Friday, we had to make 2 more changes because the stuff we had originally picked was already out of stock.
Yeah, so it's a mess. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Because it would be like one size of one shirt or sweatshirt that would be completely out of stock.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you can get this, but not in mediums.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and
anyways.
It's hard not to become a T-shirt company at the same time because we love that stuff so much.
It brings us so much joy, I think. It's fun.
It's really fun. It's hard not to make it a distraction away from the other thing that we actually do is like
make people really strong.
Deliver phenomenal strength and fitness,
Help people get really strong. Yeah.
Easy to get caught up in that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's about it.
So yeah, that's it. That's been like basically the last week. So we're kind of behind because I really wanted to do 2 podcasts a week.
Right.
So we're going to have to film again tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, because we had a lot going on in the last 10 to 15 days.
When we got back, yeah.
And then we'll just have more going on.
Which will be great.
If you listen to I guess it's, I don't know if you listen to this while it's Strength Week.
I'll probably get it up tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
I'm saying that out loud so it happens. Yes.
Yeah, so Strength Week. You can come in and have a mic that doesn't work. This thing is...
Yeah, I don't know what you did.
You stepped on it.
No, I didn't. Okay, shut that down.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow.
Okay, but tomorrow we're going to stay on a single topic.
Tomorrow we're going to talk about Moab.
Okay, we're just going to go over
Next episode,
240.
we're going to go over 240. I got to get my mind right.
I thought that's where you were going with the enchantments because of Jessica. And I was like, oh, we're going to tie in Jessica to 240.
No, we can talk about her tomorrow again. The Moab was just such an experience for me. We got to like just go straight into Moab. We can't enchantment and then Moab.
Okay. All right, to summarize. Enchantments in Seattle.
Yes.
Okay, good, fun, tough hike. Go there, do that. And then
Leavenworth.
Go okay, stay there. Next we talked about Strength Week, what that means to us.
Yes.
Went over party.
New swag.
And that's pretty much about it.
That's it.
So October 11th, 7 p.m., live band, parking lot party at the studio. Come hang out. You're more than welcome to come buy some really fun Prevail gear.
We will have a taco truck.
We'll have a taco truck.
Dinner.
So you can literally just
hang out.
Just bring a lawn chair and she's breaking stuff. And just hang outside and watch a live band and
there will
eat
be
some
like
tacos.
No exercising. It's like for real parking lot party.
Right. There's 0% exercising.
So if you like this podcast, let us know. Send me any topics at Danny _prevail on Instagram or on Facebook.
Yep. And if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, put something below. If you have questions about anything, we will dive into more stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
See ya.